Hey there, I hope you are doing super well today. It's Laura here, and I am very excited to be sharing this particular video with you because if you're watching this, then that means that somebody on our admissions team or somebody with our amazing team has identified you as being a potentially really great candidate for our coach certification and our triple certification training. So that is always awesome and exciting because we run very small group cohorts. So if you are here, it's because we've seen some alignment and we've seen some magic, and we're looking really seriously at taking those next steps together. So my intention with this video is to give you all of the information, or as much as I can, at least as much as possible, for you to be able to make a decision. Because when we move to your interview call, which will be on Zoom with one of us following this, then we want you to be able to have, as much information going into that as possible, so that you can make a really great informed choice if we are to offer you a seat in the training. So thank you so much already. If you're watching this, then we certainly know we've at least got some alignment in terms of values and mission and purpose and all of that good stuff, which to me anyway is the most important. And I look forward to hopefully meeting you in the training at some point in the future if this is a great fit. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and fumble with my screen a little bit while I get my slides pulled up. Okay, so this is slides. I'm going to basically, in this video, I'm going to walk you through a little bit about what to expect, a little bit about myself and Kelly and Ernie, and what to expect in the program. I'm going to give you the format. I'm going to give you the sort of time that's involved in taking it, how it's laid out, how we serve and how we show up in the program, everything you can expect from us in terms of the course sort of layout and structure, as well as what you'll actually be doing in the course, because there is so much in there. And I know for a lot of people who come to us, they maybe haven't even heard of neurolinguistic programming before. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what those tools are, and how the course is set up. And I'll also share with you what some of our graduates are doing while they're still inside the program and immediately following the program, so that you have an idea of what it's like to be in a course with us and what you can expect in terms of your results. And then, of course, I'm going to share with you the sort of overall commitment on time and energy, and the commitment for tuition and the investment in taking this course with you. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. You will get to know me if you're in the program, and what you will get to know is that I love quotes, and every single quote that starts one of our presentations, I say is my favorite quote. They're all my favorite quote, but for this particular presentation, I think this one is really fitting. This is Oprah Winfrey, who said, "There is no greater gift you can give or receive than to honor your calling. It's why you were born, and it's how you become most truly alive." That one is certainly really important for me. I did work for a long time that was not honoring my calling. I was doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing, and what just basically what I thought I could be successful with. And it really didn't cross my mind until I went through my fertility crisis and then met Ernie and stuff, that it was realistic to actually have a job that was a calling and that felt purposeful and meaningful and fulfilling, and that I could get up every day and actually want to show up at. That just seemed like a myth to me in the beginning. So this one certainly speaks to me. My very top value in career and business is calling. I can't do work if it's not aligned with my calling at this point, and it's something that we hear from so many of the people who come through our programs, and it's the reason why we wrote our second book, and called it Is Coaching Your Calling, because we were hearing from so many people that this was work that they felt called to do. So I'm going to set this one up with that and keep going. This is basically, this is us. That's me on the left, Ernie in the middle, and Kelly on the right. I put this in here because we are the owners of the company. We're full partners in the company, and we're also your trainers, and we will train 100% of the material with you. A lot of programs, people are sometimes sort of surprised when they find out that the person on the webinar and the person on the training and on the videos is not the actual person who is showing up and coaching them and getting to know them and serving them. For us, we do run very small group cohorts. We keep our groups, I think, average like 12 to 14 people, but we do run small cohorts. Sometimes there's overlap, so you will see other people coming and going, but we keep it pretty intimate and cozy because we want to get to know each of you personally. This is not about how many certificates can we print and how many graduates can we churn out at the end of the year. That's not where our measurement of success lies. Our measurement of success as a company lies with how many of our graduates are out there actually doing transformational work and changing lives. And we know that that is really hard to do in a large group setting where you are, virtual and have that level of anonymity. So if that's what you're looking for, and you're looking to have a space where you can kind of like sit back and do it, then we're probably not good for you, because you can't hide in our program, because we will be there talking to you and getting to know you. And if we aren't seeing you, then we'll be reaching out and finding out why. But one of the best things is that at the end of any group training, we can honestly say that we've gotten to know our students and our graduates, and that translates into our community. So we do lead the program. We lead all of our coaching calls, which I'll talk about in a little bit. All the pre-recorded training is us, but also like in the group and answering your questions, you'll get us. So that is why I share this. You've probably seen this before, but it's worth repeating. And I sort of touched on it a minute ago. A lot of the coach certifications and trainings are really based on curriculum and the academic experience. And certainly that is what we do. We offer coach training, we offer certification, and this is the big part that people know us for. And stuff, but it's definitely important to us, especially given that Ernie's background is in teaching. So it's certainly important to us, and specifically to Ernie, that we are providing the highest quality certification and teaching available. We do that with the recorded content, with coaching calls, and with your certifications. So this is a triple certification, meaning you will walk away as a certified Avalon Empowerment Transformational Coach, as a certified Evolved NLP practitioner or coach, that language is interchangeable, and as a certified quantum time release practitioner. And it's really the combination of those tools that we know can get your clients the amazing results that they're looking for, that will help you grow your business. So that is the certification aspect of it. It's obviously a really big deal to us. It's what we do, but we know that in order to have people who are actually out there doing the work and not just taking more courses and spending more money on certifications and looking for the next silver bullet, we need to cover off some other areas too. So the second big one is business. Whether you are brand new to your coaching business or you've been in it for several years, when you're taking a training like this and you're getting all of these new tools, it does change the way that you do the work. It changes the way that you speak about yourself as a coach. And for those of you who might be brand new coming into this, there is this aspect of like, how do I take the learning and actually put it into action? And then how do I sell that? And how do I talk about it? And how do I market it? I will tell you now, simple, like we do keep it simple. We keep it simple for at least the first 100K. And then you can look at scaling tactics. And there's a lot of people in the industry trying to help people scale from zero, which makes absolutely no sense. But I will avoid that rant right now and just say that we are there for the actual like practical application of the tools, helping you build the business, helping you figure out the niche that you want to be in, if that's where you're at, and where to get those opportunities to get in front of people and start sharing your message. So there is training dedicated to this. A lot of people come into NLP trainings specifically for the NLP sales process. I love what we've done with the NLP sales process and Evolved NLP. We call it the joy of sales. And so some people are like super excited to get in and get their hands on that. For us, it's always people who are more sort of just looking for ways to do sales and be in integrity. And you shouldn't ever have to feel like you're selling when you're doing sales. And you should feel like you are just, you're meeting potential, I call our clients soulmate clients. And when you approach it with that, space, then you're just really excited to meet the people that come your way, and you never feel the pressure of the sale. Having said that, we have taken the NLP sales model. There was some stuff we didn't love about it, some stuff that felt not super awesome. And we have evolved it to be in alignment with our core values, and we do teach that extensively and talk about it a lot. So there is the training. There's also a lot of mentorship. So this happens on coaching calls. It will happen inside the group. I'm going to go through sort of how the program is structured so that you'll see how much access you have to us for that kind of thing. But I will say that this is where, we tell people, use us. Like, you will get out of a course like this what you put into it, so use us, because we are quite happy to provide that mentorship. We also hand over all of our systems that we've used in our coaching businesses. Now, Kelly, Ernie, and I do not do one-on-one work anymore, hardly any. If we do, it's usually within our graduate community, and we're only working with people. Other than that, even that hardly happens. Our grads usually resource each other and maybe come to us on calls to ask questions. But in the time that we were coaching and we were doing one-on-one work, we developed all of the systems to go along with the programs and the protocol and stuff that we have. And we found that some of the things that will really get somebody hung up in the beginning is they haven't thought about, oh, I need a contract, and what does the contract say? And what does it say about like coaching versus like needing a referral? So we do have referral templates if you are working with somebody who you want the support of a referral, or also sometimes a client will come to you and say, I've done the psychotherapy route, I've done therapy, I don't want to do that, I want NLP, I've heard it's amazing, I want the quantum time release, I do want to do this like deep transformational work with you as a coach. And then it's up to you. And we do have all of the training around how to identify when a person is a great fit, but that will happen a lot. And it happens a lot to our coaches. In that case, you'll want that client to get something signed, and that covers you. So we do have the template for that type of a letter too, as well as payment tracking forms, non-disclosure forms, just all of these little things that basically we took every reason or excuse that we had ever heard of why a coach wasn't able to launch. And a lot of it was in systems and these like little processes and stuff. So we've basically packaged all of that up. You can take it or leave it, but it is there for you. We give it to you digitally and in a binder. The digital copies, I'll just say your logo here, and you swap it out for your logo or your name everywhere. And for a lot of our coaches, that is exactly what they need to be able to get started, and to be able to get started quickly, because that's the stuff that's annoying that can take a lot of time. So we've got you covered in terms of launching and growing your business. And last but not least is your own personal transformation. Here's the thing. We run a trauma-aware training. We have trauma in our backgrounds, and we know that we attract people with trauma because we do attract a lot of wounded healer archetypes. People who the reason why you've gotten into this and feel called to this work is because of the healing that you've done around something, and you want other people to experience that too. And that is amazing. And most people who come to us who've done a lot of their work, which is necessary, and at the same time, our work is never done. We use the onion metaphor. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion. And regardless of whether you have trauma in your past or you don't, or you are brand new in business, or you are up-leveling in business, anytime you grow, and we work with people who are on significant growth trajectories, like this is our choice. We're not here to do like the mediocre life, right? Like the people that we work with are here to make a difference and to commit and to get uncomfortable. And as we get uncomfortable, stuff will come up, and it'll be the voice in your head or the beliefs or the blocks from the past, which will resurface with all of the, imposter syndrome and who do you think you are, and you're too this or that, or not enough this or that, or whatever those things are. And so we got to grow through them, and we grow through them in real time with each other inside of the program. There is dedicated time for that on coaching calls. We actually have a call specific to your personal transformation. We also set you up with one of our graduates for some one-on-one work. And there's also the opportunity to exchange work. One of the biggest benefits for me in taking these courses 10 years ago was that I met Kelly at those courses, and immediately, during the training and following the training, Kelly and I started practicing with each other, but practicing with real tools and having the support of her and of the community. I never paid for any of that type of transformational work. Again, because I had it and had access to it, and was able to reciprocate with other coaches in the community. So that is huge. And we want to build those new neural pathways to success. So we have an advanced awareness model where we take your awareness of the story from the past or of the beliefs and things that are happening, and we actually apply tools and do intervention-based coaching to move you through that. There's the support inside of the group while you're in the training with us, and also in the community at large when you graduate. So the three sort of central questions that we say, whether people recognize it or not, this is what they're asking and answering going through a program like this, is number one, what must I heal, right? This is where your education and your personal transformation overlap. And we do the transformation to move through whatever is coming up at that level. The second one, where your personal transformation, your story, and your business overlap, a lot of times this is that sort of wounded healer archetype or healed healer in action. And this relates to niching and your core story and all of that. And the question that is being asked there is, what must I create? And the result is the inspiration to go ahead and create it. And last, but certainly not least, where your academic and your business overlap, this is where the rubber hits the road. This is the what must I own. This is not where we continue dabbling and wonder and, think about having a successful business. This is where we have people either saying, I know I really this is what I'm meant to do, and I'm in and I'm doing it. Or people are saying, I'm sick of having to keep my passion as a part-time side hustle because I am, so busy working in a full-time job. Keep the full-time job, do the side hustle until you can, transition. We're big believers in that. If, there's some exceptions to that rule, but it's how Kelly, Ernie, and I all did it. We built our coaching on the side until it was time to transition over. But really it's what must I own? What do I have to own in terms of my personal responsibility? And the big word here is dedication. This is where it is time to commit and to move it forward. And where all of those overlap, we have illumination, which is very closely related to our why and why we want to do this work, because this is what will help other people illuminate their shadows. And really, at the core of sort of every challenge on the planet right now is trauma and cycles and patterns and things. And there can't be enough people. There can't be too many people doing this work. At the same time, we don't want to work with just everybody, and we can't, because we know to be successful, we need to cover these things, and that's not going to happen in a room with 150 people and just a bunch of pre-recorded stuff that you go through all by yourself with no access. So with that said, I'm going to move on and touch on each of these bubbles a little bit more in detail so that you see what you're actually getting. The curriculum and academic experience, you'll have 40 hours of pre-recorded video content. There will also be audio downloads and PDF transcribes. It is pre-recorded for a few reasons. Number one, you can go through it at your own pace. So some people will pace that out as they go through the program, which, by the way, is about 9 weeks. It's built to be about 9 weeks long while you're in the course with us. And so some people will spread that out, and that's how they do it. They're very methodical in how they do that. Other people will binge watch the material like it's their favorite Netflix series right off the bat. I'm a binger when I'm into something that I love, and I'm finding the information really amazing. Either way works. Either way works as long as you complete the course on time, and 99% of our students do. The ones who haven't, there's only been a couple, and there have been significant reasons why that has happened, or challenges and things that have come up in their lives, and we do expect that they will complete in the future. But when you do complete it, this is going to give you then lifetime access for future reference. That says when you complete the course successfully. There's a little typo there. I'm going to avoid perfectionist strategies on that. So you will have lifetime access to it. That is important to us, that it's pre-recorded, because in a year's time or 2 years' time, in one of the one module alone, submodalities, has about 8 different interventions in it. Now, you're not going to use those with every single client. Some of them you might hardly ever use. So we want you to have access to that, because you might one day be like, wow, I really need to do some mapping across, and I don't recall exactly how to do that. Let me go back to the video, watch the training on it, review my scripts with the video, watch the demo that Ernie did, because we do that, right? So we teach it, give you all the information, and then we'll actually do the intervention with a client, and that's videotaped for you. Videotaped, that's such an old word. It's recorded on Zoom video for you, so that you have access to that recording later. So it is pre-recorded that way, so that you've got that. We also ship you a course manual that you can flip through and take notes with, and then you also get a coaching binder. This coaching binder is going to give you templates, scripts, forms, and systems. One of the biggest differences in doing evolved NLP coaching and doing the transformational coaching work that we teach is that everything is intervention based. I know I've said this a couple of times. So that means a lot of coaching is on the basis of, like, if we can get a person awareness of what their beliefs or blocks are, then they can then they clear, or maybe they can like mantra or affirm their way out of it. That's not really how beliefs and blocks work neurologically. The stuff is like stuck in cellular memory. So our coaching sessions are 2 to 3 hours long, because we're taking the time to discover that, and then we're advancing that awareness and applying the appropriate intervention to clear it for a person. That's where the results come from. It's where the testimonials come from. It's where the happy clients who feel free after carrying this crap around for their whole lives comes from. So we give you all of the scripts and templates and stuff inside of a separate binder as well, so that you can pull out what you need when you need it. The video training that you've got, these are some of the different topics that we cover. So there's a full training on trauma awareness fundamentals. I won't go too much into that, because you should have watched the 35-minute intro anyways on trauma awareness and understand what we mean by that. We're not attempting to be trauma therapists here. We're really not. We are attempting to look at, from a coaching perspective, somebody who might come up against a block, so that we can spot it and know how to coach them through that and coach them past it, and use the right tools to help advance that. The Evolved NLP coach and practitioner content is probably the heftiest in here, because it is a full NLP practitioner training with some tools actually from the master practitioner level of training pulled into it, because we really believe that we wanted to give people enough that they could have significant breakthroughs with clients, and we didn't want to hold back on that. So there's some really great new content in there that you won't find in another practitioner training. So that is the ENLP practitioner content. Again, there's the explanation, the scripts, the demos. We've also included in there stuff that you won't find in necessarily like other NLP. We have modules on energetics, denial clearing, which is accessing different acupuncture points in the body with some breath work and some statements. That is super powerful and profound to set up your coaching processes, and we love doing that. So we've taught you that. We also teach muscle testing or applied kinesiology to be able to communicate with your client's subconscious. And then there's the sales modules and training too, which actually I have a separate point. So I talked a little bit about that already in terms of the sales. I'm down in the bottom left here. I jump around a little bit. It's just who I am. You'll love it. The joy of sales and ENLP sales process. Like I said, a lot of people will come to us just looking for NLP sales because they've heard it's super effective. It is. There's some stuff that is kind of schmarmy. I don't know what that word is, but you know what I mean. It's a little bit sleazy, skeezy stuff that was built out in the 80s. That's, cheesy. Like, would you like to use my pen or yours to sign a contract? We don't do that. We've taken out all of the gross stuff that could be potentially manipulative, because you don't need it anyways, and you'll be more successful without it. But we have taken the best of the sales model and built out our joy of sales process with it. Our coaches love it. What else? Quantum time release practitioner. I know we haven't spent a lot of time talking about this. If you're familiar with NLP work, you've probably also heard of different time techniques. So there's the TIME, there's walking the timeline, there's timeline therapy, which was the basis that we learned from. We have taken our model for denial clearing, the power of forgiveness from our quantum change process, which is not part of this course, but we really built that into combine with the basics of the time techniques that NLP offers, and we've created the quantum time release training with that. Our coaches who have trained in both like other NLP time models and this absolutely adore it. Everybody has switched over fully to using our QTR. It's incredibly powerful. QTR is a way of releasing, the weight of negative emotional gestalts from the past. So things like the weight of anger, sadness, fear, guilt, shame, resentment, all of these different emotions that over a lifetime build up. And some of us have heavier gestalts than others, depending on what we've maybe dealt with. And we're not sort of like erasing a person's capacity to feel those emotions. Certainly not. They're all healthy emotions, but we can release the weight of that. And when you think about, the law of attraction and energetics and getting into alignment and raising your vibration, this is the fastest way to do that in our experience, is to be able to release the weight of the heavier emotions so that we can more effortlessly enter the positive emotional space. I don't like the word positive and negative, but for the purpose of explanation, I'm going to use that so that you get what I mean. It's also what we use to release limiting decisions from the past. So this is what I talk about, like awareness is not enough. You have to have the tools. If I have awareness that like, wow, I'm running a belief that I'm not smart enough, or that I'm uneducated, or that people wouldn't take me seriously because I'm a woman. And by the way, I've run all of those beliefs at some point in time. I turn to a tool like QTR, and it's about a 10-minute release to just let go of that belief. It's absolutely phenomenal and profound what happens when we release that type of thing. It's why we call it quantum, because it truly is. It's not just a fancy word. Like it actually, like we're changing the trajectory of our things that we go through. We've got like our 10% that is our conscious mind, your 90% that is your unconscious. And what a tool like this does is, if consciously I say, I want to make, I'll use, one of the most common things that we hear from people just starting out is, I want to have a coaching business that makes 6 figures, right? They want to make that first $100,000. Well, that's great to feel that way consciously in the 5 to 10%. But if somewhere in the 90 to 95%, there's a belief that money is bad, that you can't make money as a female, that you can't make money doing the work that you love, that it's not right to charge people for, for personal change and transformation and healing, any of those beliefs or any combination of those beliefs will interfere with the 10%. And of course, the 90% is going to win. It has a lot more power. Your unconscious is a powerhouse. So this is where you're going to both use these tools to clear your own blocks and to have your own awareness as it comes up, but it's also the tool that you'll use with all of your clients, whether they're going through relationship difficulties or money stuff or career stuff or parenting things. And it's just a phenomenal tool. So that is one of the full certifications in the training. It's also part of the online training and part of what we'll practice with you in real time. Okay, I think I've said enough about that. The Avalon Breakthrough Coaching Model and Coaching Processes. This one's really important. I'm going to talk more about it on the next slide. But what you will get here is basically, one of the biggest challenges, even back when I took the trainings, was I'd taken all of these trainings and had all of these tools to use, but I didn't really know how to put them together in a package and in a process. And so Ernie actually was, I hired Ernie as my business coach after I learned from him. And he helped me iron that stuff out. But as we've grown and as we've grown together, and as our company has grown, we've said, let's build this out step by step by step. So what you get with us now is a step-by-step Avalon Breakthrough Coaching Model that you can do with your clients. It is set up as a one-on-one model. But a lot of people will translate that into group work. And even if you never plan on doing one-on-one work, and I'm a big fan of group work, and we do a lot of talking about group programs and building of group programs together while we're in this course, but it is something worth going through yourself, and it is something worth practicing with another person in terms of integrating the sheer power of these tools and what that does. So we do have a full module of videos on the breakthrough model. And then we also give you our bonus training called quantum goal setting. This is something that a lot of our coaches will basically use in terms of like tasking their clients around goal setting and reverse engineering their goals and how they approach them, and teaching their own clients about the energetics of goal setting too. So a lot of people love that one. All right, I am moving on. Business building and mentorship. This is, this is that purple, the purple bubble. And this is where what is included in the courses will have the dedicated course modules to building your business. We've talked about that. You can also start selling your coaching and getting a return on your investment before you graduate. Now, that largely has to do with if you're already a coach, what we found is that people will come into this and start using the tools right away and recognize where client A needs this, client B needs that, and they'll start using them right away. If you're just starting out, you will probably get through the full sort of 40 hours of recorded material before you do that. But either way, for the people that do sort of take the recorded material and prioritize getting that done up front, as soon as you're done, we encourage you to put it out there to start doing some case study work. I'm going to show you on the next couple of slides, who has done that, some of the people who have done that and what that looks like. And that is, a lot of people will do that with our breakthrough model, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more. I just did, but I'm going to come back to it. Okay, there will be real-time mentorship specific to your business and your needs. So we do have framework, and we do have sort of like processes and frames that we can build around, but how this work is going to express itself in a health coach's business, and how this would express itself in a career coach's business, or in the business of somebody who's dealing with people recovering from strained family relationships. It's going to look a little different in each of those cases, and we will be there to help you figure out what it looks like for you. Right? Also, we have the opportunity to practice what you're learning with others in your cohort. Hopefully that's something that starts and never stops. Building the confidence and putting yourself out there is huge for a lot of people. And for a lot of people, they lack confidence because they've taken a training that, while it was inspiring and they got a lot of theory, they didn't have a lot of tools, and they're not sure exactly what they're supposed to do with a client. And so that sort of, I think there's a level of integrity that comes with not every coach, but certainly the coaches we attract, that says, unless I know I can help this person through the thing, I'll sabotage myself and putting myself out there because I don't want to do any harm. So we know that that is a major sort of sabotage program that runs for people. So it will help you figure out what's going on there, and know that you have the tools to actually help people, and to know that you have the support when you're in the training, but also when you're done with the training, to be able to ask the questions so that you're never stuck with a client and you're never in that kind of a situation. I think that is probably one of the most underrated aspects and highly valuable aspects of this training. So I want to put that out there. You'll have a weekly coaching call. Usually it's with me, dedicated to all things business, your sales, your websites, marketing, creating group programs, social media presence, and all of that stuff. We talk about all of that. I will help you simplify it. I will tell you, I built my entire coaching business and left a job that was a six-figure salary and replaced my income, and I had almost no social media presence at all. And didn't even have a proper email server software. I was BCCing people on my email lists, and made a bunch of money doing it that way. So we do want to keep it as simple as possible, so that you can, the faster you launch and get the confidence out there, the faster your unconscious is like, oh, I get it. She can really do this. He can really do this. They've got this. And allows you to actually attract more clients in. And then over time, you'll figure out a lot of the other little details and build that stuff up. But we do have coaching calls. We talk about all the things. Some people come to us in a place where they have a funnel set up. They have like their lead magnets, and they do have like quite an impressive system set up, but they might not be doing the sales that they want to be doing. And in that case, that's when I'll take a look at that and say, okay, let's look at your email sequences. Let's look at all of these things. But for those of you who are just starting out, we're not going to let any of that stuff be overwhelming or scary. We're going to get you out there getting paid for doing awesome work without any of that. I didn't have it. You don't need it either, not to start. Okay, all of that said, this breakthrough program that I talked about over here, the breakthrough coaching model and processes, this is one of the big ones that that our grads really have gravitated to and focused on, because it's a program that is step-by-step, session-by-session framework. This is for you to do with your clients. Okay, so we teach you this model and say, take this, like go forward with it, use it with your clients, sell it. There's beautiful coffee and everything if you want to use that. Some of our people do use it. Some of our people call it their own thing and brand it themselves. We don't care. What's important to us is that you're out there doing the work and changing people's lives. So we don't care what you call it. You can use our language. You cannot. That's up to you. We'll help you figure out what's the right model for you. But it is typically, we have a 6-week and a 6-month. So 6-month coaching is really for people who are looking for sort of like a goal setting, accountability, and personal growth over time. The 6-week session is for the people who need that personal breakthrough. So we do recommend getting yourself out there, even if you never plan on doing one-on-one coaching. Get a couple of personal breakthroughs under your belt so that you can experience the power of the tools and integrate them, and also make some money and feel really good about it. So our graduates for the 6-week program charge anywhere from $3,500 to $10,000 for that program, which may sound crazy. It may sound like $3,500 might sound like a low price point. It might sound high. Again, this is what you would be charging your clients, okay, for coming to you. Some of our graduates will actually offer that at a case study rate, and I want to show you that on the next slide. It is something that we recommend and that we will help you put together and launch while you're still in the program. If that's what you want to do. Other people are like, nope, I want to focus on the program while I'm in the program. I'll launch these afterwards. I have examples of both. But that is a life-changing program for your clients. It's what I did with almost all of my fertility clients. It's how Ernie built his business for many, many years. It's how Kelly built her business. We love it. Our graduates love it. You know, and then our grads who get to a point where they're at capacity, working one-on-one and looking to move into more high-ticket group programs, still offer breakthroughs, but they refer them out to other grads inside of the community where they can, you know, a newer person might be like very, very happy to make $3,500, and our grad can charge $5,000 for it, oversee it and supervise it without having to be in the one-on-one time for money model. They're more in a higher ticket group sale model at that point. If that's where you're at, then ask on the interview, because we can talk about what that would look like for you. If that's not where you're at and you're just getting started, then we would highly recommend looking at this. This is where a lot of the value in your coaching will come from. And really, it truly is like, it's amazing when clients write you and say, this is the best money I've ever spent. This was completely life-changing. When they keep in touch with you, you know, Ernie gets referrals 20 plus years later from people who worked with him so long ago. So it is just, it is simply phenomenal when it comes to change work with people. And again, that's something that you offer to your clients. So I want to manage any confusion there and be really clear about that. And then your personal transformation, okay? The course is designed to be transformative in nature. Your stuff will come up. We have multiple different platforms, which I will talk about, that will give you access to us basically 24/7. We sleep, we take time off, we take vacation, but the bottom line is that we've got you. You know, we create this space. It is a vulnerable space. We want it to be a safe space. So we know that stuff will come up. It's not if it comes up, it's when it comes up. And that could be something from the past, or it could be some like a new belief that shows up about not being able to charge for high ticket stuff, or people won't pay, or whatever those things are. We will work through it. There is a transformational coaching call weekly where we coach you through these challenges. the call is not created, or it's not recorded, because we do want to create the safest space possible. Some people will come to that call because they are going through something. Others will come to hold space. And we always say, we talk a lot about vicarious trauma in trauma aware training, but we don't always focus on vicarious healing. But that is a very real phenomenon too, and happens a lot on those transformational calls. Okay, so some people will come to learn and hold space. Others come because they're hitting something. That's going to change week to week while you're in the program, but we do have that there for you. The 6-week breakthrough, we really recommend everybody in the program partners up with somebody else and practices that with each other at some point, either after you graduate or, while you're towards the tail end of the program. And we do, we have a lot of people who will come to calls and ask questions about their exchange work and stuff. So we'll help you through that. One of the things we also added last year that has become a favorite for our graduates is that we've now paired everybody up with, or connected, I suppose, everybody to a list of our graduates who are offering quantum change process sessions. It's a different modality, but phenomenal in terms of a 3-hour session where you can clear any major blocks, have any sort of personal breakthroughs that come up. So it's a 3-hour session. We pay our grads for that. So you get a list with some video intros of who is available. You reach out to the person that you feel most connected with. And then they do the session for you and we pay them. And that has worked out really, really well. It's a really nice win-win-win for us. At the end of the training, we try not to take it personally that after 40 hours of recorded content, countless hours of calls and coaching calls and other support, when we're like, what was your favorite thing? They're like, working with the grad. We do take that personally because we know that means that what we're doing is working. And I think it's also really nice for our students to see what's possible for them in terms of doing that work and offering it. Because a lot of the graduates are just out of the program and getting their experience and building up too. So that is really fun and we love that. Okay, this is the sort of how stuff, right? You will have the online video platform. This is kind of what it looks like. You will go through module by module. Like I said, some people binge watch it, some people spread it out, but it's all set up. You get a login and you access it this way. It's very easy to just download the bits and pieces that you might want to download. You will also have your course manual, remember, to flip through while you are going through the videos. You need to get through them one full time before the end of the program. And you also have a private Facebook group. This is where you can connect with each other. It's where you can connect with us. You might post questions in here if you don't want to wait for a coaching call to come up. People share resources, people ask for help and say, hey, let's get together and practice. The Facebook group is great for that. We'll also sometimes tag you in older posts where we've answered similar questions and that kind of thing, but it's private, it's closed, nobody else can see it. And you will only be in there with people who are active in a cohort, so either your cohort or maybe they're finishing up or just starting as you're finishing up, but it will be specific just to those of you who are in this program at that time. Upon completion of the program, some people will move on and work with us in our Torchbearer platform. It's a 12-month coaching platform. Other people don't. Either way, you will be invited into our graduate community group, which is a separate Facebook group with our grads, where the same type of thing happens, just at a bit of a larger scale. Okay. You will also have this personal Basecamp. So Basecamp is an app that we use. It's very logistical in nature, so it helps us keep track of where you're at. It helps you keep track of where you're at. So you'll see here the tracking video completion list, and I've blown one up over here. It actually will give you due dates. So it's just an algorithm on the app that says, hey, based on when you've enrolled and your completion date, here's the due dates for the videos. You don't have to finish them by those due dates. But what it does is sort of let you know if you are somebody who's doing it kind of methodically or slowly as you're going through, it lets you know where you're tracking in terms of like, hey, I'm ahead or I'm a little bit behind, and it helps you make decisions about how much you're going to watch and when. This is where you will come in and check off those videos so that we can see your progress, so that you can track your progress. If we're not seeing something happening, then you're going to get You're going to get reached out to by Karen, who is our client success key person. She's a graduate of all of the trainings. Her unofficial title is Godsend Fixer, because she fixes everything and sees problems before anybody else does in the business. But she's also just like a logistical whiz and knows where everything is, knows where you can find everything, and is super, super helpful in terms of coaching, but also just helping you figure out how to be successful in the course. So you will meet Karen in the program too. And then the other thing about this is we have a team folder. So there'll be a cohort folder. We'll post all of those Your Logo Here files and all of our templates and stuff. Anything we want to share with the group will go there. There's like a feed of what's coming up and happening, because you'll have a live event at the end. So all of those details will be in here. And then finally, we have your private message board. So this is where if there's something that you don't feel comfortable posting in the group, or you don't feel comfortable bringing to a coaching call, even though it is a group program, we want to create that space where if you do need to come to us privately, you can, and you can share in your private message board. And that will just come to the team, okay? That will not go to everybody in the cohort. You all have access to this. So that is Basecamp. And then there are the weekly coaching calls. So Tuesdays is Transformation Tuesday. That's the one that's dedicated to personal transformation. It's the call that's not recorded. Wednesday and Thursday are always recorded and posted in the group. Wednesday is anything related to business, we've already talked about. Thursday is anything related to the curriculum. So questions about, different modalities or scripts that you're learning. If you're sort of like, this looks really cool, but I have no idea how it would apply to my business, you can ask that on the Thursday calls. Typically, Kelly coaches Tuesday, I coach Wednesday, Ernie coaches Thursday, but we switch them up too, and you'll sometimes see us on each other's calls, or sometimes you'll see a couple of us on a call. But either way, those calls do happen every single week. They are not mandatory. They're not mandatory, but they are there for you to take advantage of. We've had people come through the program very successfully who couldn't make it to any calls because of work schedules, but they caught up on the recordings and messaged us in their private message board if anything was coming up in terms of personal transformation. And we've had people who have come to every single call because they've wanted to, and they've carved out the time. You also don't have to, they're booked for an hour each. You don't have to come to the entire call. Some people, we had a nurse in 2020 who's a COVID ICU nurse who was, running into, it was kind of like Grey's Anatomy when they jump in the supply closet to make out. She wasn't jumping in a supply closet to make out, but she was jumping into a closet to jump on a call for 10 or 15 minutes, ask her questions, and then hop out again. So that was always interesting. So if you're in that type of a situation, listen, like the timing for something like this will never be right. There will always be challenges. It's the nature of transformation. It's gonna happen for you. It's gonna happen for your clients. So we just, there's a way, right? We figure it out. And so we have got your back in terms of what figuring it out looks like for you. And we can talk about that on the interview if those are some of the questions or concerns that you might have. At the end, there is a 3-day live event. It's sort of live because it's live over Zoom instead of in person. But it is wonderful and fun, and we love it. On day 1 of that 3-day event, they are full days, and connect with us to confirm when your 3-day event would be. But on day 1, you're going to go through the coaching material and paired facilitated quantum time release sessions. So day 1 is really dedicated to the coaching aspect and how to do the work, and an actual like practical application of the tools in real time with each other. Day 2, we focus on business building and planning for, what your next steps look like moving forward. And day 3, we do some stuff around your hero or heroine's journey. There's some fun spiritual stuff and lots of celebration and no shortage of love at the 3-day live event. So we are almost done. This is just an overview of what it looks like. Okay, you've got the online video platform to learn at your own pace, the Facebook group to connect with each other and ask questions, share resources, personal Basecamp for connection with us, staying on track, logistics, announcements, and it's a private channel, confidential private channel, the weekly calls, to ask your questions and integrate what you're learning. Remember, they're not mandatory, but they are there for you. And then the live event, the 3 full days on Zoom, where you integrate the learnings and graduate with 3 certifications. This is just some, I'm going to actually make sure that this is PDF'd as a slide. So if you want to read through these in detail, some people ask us like, hey, what can I expect from the program, especially with this idea of the coaching breakthrough? You know, people often look at us and they're like, really, like after this much time, I'm going to be able to do this work with a person and they're going to pay me over $3,000 to do it. Yes, really. And we wouldn't sell this and we wouldn't teach it if it wasn't possible and doable. Here's the thing, you could be in the program for 2 years and still not know every different coaching scenario that's going to come up. What's important is that we provide you with the support inside of the course to ask your questions, and with the opportunity to continue doing that after the course, and with the community to rely on either each other and us too inside of the community for those questions when you're complete. So these are some people, these are all screen caps of people who sold breakthrough packages while they were inside of the training, okay? So down here in the bottom right-hand corner, she was actually already a coach, but she did corporate coaching. The pandemic ended all of her corporate contracts. She wound up selling 3 breakthroughs, 2 at $3,500, 1 at $4,000 while she was still in the course. Down here on the bottom, he was working night shift. His wife also took the training, and they have 5 children between them. So very, very busy people. He was working full time, but he launched his breakthrough as a case study. So instead of it being $3,500, I think he did it for $2,500. It was either $2,500 or $3,000. I can't remember, but this was his share in the group. I received my first deposit for a breakthrough this morning. Oh my God. Now what? Session 1 is on the 30th. I think I got it. The good thing was that we were there to help him work through what to do after session 1. He signed his 2nd breakthrough while he was in the course too. Over here, this one's from a few months ago. She said, background, I'm a veterinarian. She's never been to coaching and has never coached anyone before. And she says, oh my God, everyone, I just got off a Zoom with my first initial contact, 20-minute call, and it went amazingly. I vividly remember walking her through what that call would sound like on the day before she had it. She's in for the detailed discovery. I think she'll be an amazing client. I can already see how the various tools and tasks are going to help her amazing true self come out and shine. I've had to share. This person who had never coached anyone before sold 3 personal breakthroughs while she was in the training. Okay. Up in the top left, she sold these after the initial Evolved NLP training, has been coaching with clients in her own model for a long time, and then sold her first one. And immediately after the first one got underway and she started getting amazing results with her, 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th came through just like that. And that is typical of what happens because you know, it's like anything else, right? You got to get that first one underway. You know, when you ride the scary roller coaster for the first time, it's much easier to get on the second time because you realize it was actually fun. For some people, I actually don't love roller coasters, but you understand the analogy. It works. Over here, again, another person who had never coached before. She was still working in her corporate job. Actually planned to do corporate coaching, wasn't planning on doing a lot of individual breakthrough work. But got a couple of breakthroughs while she was in the course and loved doing it. So that is all possible. On the left-hand side, this is a coach who had all of the presence and the funnels and all of the things set up for marketing, but wasn't making money in their business until she took the course and broke through some of her own blocks. And then the first month after the training, she messaged to say, I've made $8,400 this month already. And then a follow-up message a little while later saying, I am less than $250 away from 10K this month. And she closed that first month after the training at 14K. So that is the power of your personal breakthroughs and the tools. On the right-hand side, again, this was in the program. She was actually somebody who worked for one of the largest personal development companies out there and came into our training and fell in love with our sales process, was immediately aligned with it and started getting paid clients and breakthroughs really, really quickly. So went from 3333 to 8333 with sales still coming in for the end of the month. So that is, these are not just like unicorn one-off results. It's definitely possible. Again, you get into the course, what you, or you get out of the course, what you put into it. You have to show up, but we will give you everything that we've got because this is our mission. This is our why. It's not how many people we can certify and say, you're the best educated coach out there. It's how many people we can see and celebrate these kinds of results for. These are just some other ones, just about people's experience in the training. This is the stuff that gets us up out of bed in the morning. People saying, I feel like I'm hitting the life jackpot. I couldn't be happier with my decision. This is far exceeding my expectations. Again, this is why we get out of bed in the morning. This is really important to us. Okay, and I'm going to skip over these because that is more of the same and enough about us. Now, what are the the details? Your tuition for this program is $8,800 or 3 payments of $3,000. We do ask for a $500 deposit to at least get that enrollment going, with the balance of the $2,500 coming. Sometimes people need a couple of days to arrange their, to pay down a credit card or shift money around to do that. So we will do that. It is possible to make that money back while you are still in the program, as you just saw. So we can talk about that on your interview call if that's something that's important to you. Return on investment happens over time, and you see that in the community over time. And a lot of people focus on return on investment. You will make, 10 times this, 100 times this over the next coming years. That's true, and it's all good and well, but we're really focused on the return of this investment because it needs to be an investment. This can't be a spend or an expense that you don't see a clear path to making that money back. So we will absolutely have that conversation with you at the interview if this feels aligned for you. We also do have a third-party funding partner. If you can't make the 3 payments of $3,000 work, we do have some other options in terms of spreading that out longer term. I'm also going to share with you at this point that if you were offered a spot in the program, we will ask you to make a decision on the call. Okay, we will ask you to make that decision on the call. Feel free to ask any questions in advance that you need to. Hopefully we've given you like the big pieces that you need to know running into this so that you can make that decision. Choice. I love some of these quotes because they're my favorite quotes. In any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The worst thing you can do is nothing. This is a transformational program. It will grow you. It will change you. Transformation is not comfortable, but staying in a position of indecision is the most uncomfortable thing of all. So we do like to ask for that decision. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. We believe that that is absolutely true. It's been true in my life countless times. My convincer is very full on that one. And I know that that can be scary in the beginning, but sometimes we need to leap and build things. And then my favorite quote is Carolyn Mace. She says, every choice we make contains the energy of either faith or fear, and the outcome of every decision reflects to some extent that faith or fear. The dynamic of choice guarantees that we cannot run away from ourselves or our decisions. So we will ask you to make a decision. We'll support you in making that decision. But if we have identified that we would like to offer you a spot because we believe that this is going to work, then we'll ask for that on the spot. So I do want to let you know that in advance so that you're not coming and then at the end of it going like, well, I need to think about it, or I need to talk to my partner. The time to talk to your partner is before the call. And the time to make those needs known and identify what you want for yourself is before the call. What's important in terms of next steps is honoring and respecting our time and energy and yours, and being the client you want to attract. How you do anything is how you do everything. So how you are presenting and showing up is what you can expect to attract back in clients coming to you. So what do you want from a client? Be that person. If we have booked an interview with you, please show up or reschedule if you can't make it. Our feelings won't be hurt if you're like, I watched the video with Laura and I don't like it. I don't like this course, it's not for me. That's good. Like a no is just as good as a yes, this sounds like it's for me and I want to continue. So we will honor whatever decision you make. We just ask you to honor and respect the space for yourself and for us too. With all of that said, I really hope that we do get to meet. What will happen is that we'll be on Zoom for 45 to 60 minutes. We'll do that deep dive. You can ask your questions. We'll make sure it's a heck yes for you if you want to move forward. If it is and there's space in a coming cohort, we'll make you an offer. You can choose to accept it or say no, thank you. Just come to that interview prepared to make a decision and commit with a deposit if we offer you a seat in the training. If it is that clear win-win, there will be no dancing babies in the training, but there might be more gifts of them. We'll begin your onboarding though, and you will join the cohort and get started immediately. Okay, with that said, I just want to stop sharing and say thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. If you have any questions, then let us know. Otherwise, we look forward to meeting you sometime in the future. Bye-bye.